I'm Barbara Gilbert, your host for The Infinite One. I am a writer, a spiritual seeker, and a student of many religions. I have hopes to become a Unitarian Universalist minister eventually. I'm looking into graduate schools right now. And in the meantime, I'm bringing my ideas to Falmouth and beyond in a few different ways. First, in October of 2015, I hosted my first of several spirituality study groups at the Falmouth Public Library. These groups have attracted some really exciting members, people who are enthusiastic seekers, well-read, and very interested in talking about different paths to the one infinite one. We are an exciting group. I find it very fulfilling, and I encourage you to look into joining us if you are interested in speaking to others who might be interested in the same kinds of things that I am, and you may be too. Irma, no, I have a cat. My cat claws my furniture. I didn't want to lock her away while I was taping, but she's being very annoying. Her name is Irma. Anyway, I just wanted to say that the Spirituality Study Group at the Falmouth Public Library is not my first effort at leading spirituality groups. I was living in the Brockton area before moving to Falmouth, and I was the leader of a spirituality study group at the Recovery Learning Center of Brockton. It was there that I felt really called to find deeper meaning in my life, to move forward with some ideas about my future. And I have been called to ministry now for a while, and I just want to say that it's been a blessing, and it's made me very happy to find groups of people that support me in that effort. So thank you for joining me today. I'm going to give you a brief promotional about what this show is going to be like over the next few months. I plan to air it monthly, and I would like to encourage guests to come on, people who have interesting stories about their spiritual paths, people who are pursuing ministry, people who have doubts about all of it. This is a very open and very affirming path that I'm on. I really believe that it's important for us to promote religious tolerance. In our world today, it is so destructive to see so many people fighting in the name of religion. When through my studies, I have to say, I find more commonalities than differences. I have been studying for 16 years. I have been studying the works of Meher Baba, who is a spiritual teacher from India. He lived in the last century, was born in 1894, and died in 1969. If you're familiar with Pete Townsend of The Who, you may know that Pete had found Meher Baba in the 60s and considered him his master, and wrote a long article about him in Rolling Stone magazine in '69. So that's a very interesting tidbit about Baba, but there's so much more. I have to say this is my primary area of study, but what it's encouraged me to do is to open up and look at scriptures from all different religions. Meher Baba did not promote one single path. He said that every path will lead to the Infinite One. And we shouldn't be changing our religions to try and attain something that we think is going to be somewhere else. Our own karma, our own lives, our own circumstances will dictate how we follow this path and how we reach the ultimate goal. So that was very exciting for me because I had been brought up Christian, attended Protestant churches when I was a child. My mother became a Unitarian Universalist when I was in my teens. And I would say the Unitarian Universalist Church has been a good home for me ever since. I was married in the UU Church. I attend services at the UU Church on Sandwich Road in Falmouth. And I find the teachings in that church really appeal to my sense of inclusiveness when it comes to religion. And that's why when I'm a minister, I'm going to really focus on that path. And it was important to me to hear from someone that I really respect that to achieve the highest goal in spiritual life, you don't necessarily need to go into a cave and renounce all of the physical world. That's my cat again. You really don't have to go into this state of a whirling dervish or hang upside down and starve yourself. These are things that the Buddha did in his lifetime and said the same things about them. That the middle path in Buddhism is really preferred. A balanced, very stable, living in the world, taking care of your duties, and living your religion to the best possible degree. So, on this show, I'd like to talk to you about these ideas and have others come on and talk to me about their ideas. So I encourage you, if you're interested in being a guest or helping me on the production of the show, if these ideas are interesting to you, please contact me. I'll put up my email address on the graphics, but you can always reach me at email poetryandpictures@gmail.com. And I can give you information on the spirituality study group. I can invite you to join me as a guest. And as you may tell, I am a one-person operation on this show right now. I am struggling to know whether this is actually taping well. So anybody interested in helping me on production would be great too. I wanted to just say a few words about the December holidays. Now, many people react funny if you call them holidays instead of saying Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy winter solstice. And I believe that everybody has very exciting, beautiful celebrations that they love and find very fulfilling, especially this time of year. In my house, we have celebrated over the years. We have celebrated Hanukkah and Christmas. And there are many other winter celebrations around the world. It's a time to reflect on family, neighbors, society, and how we relate to one another and how we can pursue peace in our world. It's a very sacred time of year for many people, and what I would like to encourage people to do over the holidays this year is remember that world peace really starts at home. You may feel like you can't change the world, that there are too many wars, there are too many disagreements, we have too many political ideas that conflict with each other. People have too many different paths and everybody's fighting to be right. But these are things that can exist right in your own family with people that think differently than you do, but you love all of your people that you spend your time with, and maybe you only see them once or twice a year, and conflicts can arise, especially over dinner when people start conversations about things that are important to them. People's views on God affect almost every area of their lives. Their choice of profession, what they do in their free time, their politics, their views on race and immigration, and just basically like it's a package that comes with what you believe is right. This can be very difficult when people have conflicting views of what they think is right. I know I experienced this in my own family. We have my parents and my siblings and my daughter. We all have our own widely different ideas on faith and society. And I have tried to simply say, when I disagree with someone's path, I respect you and I respect your ideas. It seems so easy, but so difficult sometimes too, to offer respect to someone that you feel is just totally wrong. But when you're in the heat of a conversation over Christmas dinner or any gathering that you're in for the holidays this year, a simple statement of respect can diffuse so much. And you may be surprised at the response you get from saying just a simple statement of respect. So I'm just going to throw it out there that remember this when you're among family and friends this holiday season. It's the first step towards world peace. And if we can achieve this in our homes, it will become so much easier to achieve it with our neighbors and society, and It's just a suggestion. Hopefully, it will speak to you. We've been through really troubling times. As I'm taping, this is shortly after the terrorist attack in Paris. And it's very disturbing. And I just wanted to read you something that Meher Baba wrote during World War II about the travail of the world and what it means spiritually. So let me get right to that. This book, Discourses, is in the Falmouth Public Library. This is a compilation of things that Meher Baba said silently and wrote through his followers during his lifetime. Meher Baba was silent from 1925 until his death in 1969. And it was not because he couldn't speak. It was because he said, God has given man enough words, and man has been deaf to all of them. So in this lifetime, I will not speak. It is time for people to awaken to their true destiny. He also said, I have come not to teach, but to awaken. Now, people question what that means. What kind of awakening are we looking for? And maybe it's just the inner knowledge that we are really one, all of us, no matter where we live, no matter what religion we are, no matter whether we're rich or struggling and poor or any kind of system that might divide us. We are one to each other and to God. We're all together in this path of awakening. So when Meher Baba wanted to not teach but awaken, I feel he was saying, wake up, see, your brother is just like you. Tolerance and love alone prevail. So let me get right to this. The travail, if I'm French, I would say travail. I studied French, but I think it's easy to put it into English by saying the travail of the New World Order. This was first printed in 1941. The world storm that has been gathering momentum is now having its greatest outburst, and in reaching its climax, it will work universal disaster. In the struggle for material well-being, all grievances have assumed fantastic proportions, and the various differences of human interests have been so accentuated that they have precipitated distinctive conflict. Humanity has failed to solve its individual and social problems, and the evidence for this failure is very clear. The incapacity of people to deal with their problems constructively and creatively reveals a tragic deficiency in the right understanding of the basic nature of man and the true purpose of life. The world is witnessing an acute conflict between the forces of light and the forces of darkness. On the one hand, there are selfish persons who seek their happiness blindly through lust for power, unbridled greed, and unrelieved hatred. Ignorant of the real purpose of life, They have sunk to the lowest level of civilization. They bury their higher selves in the wreckage of crumbling forms that linger on from the dead past. Bound by material interests and limited conceptions, they are forgetful of their divine destiny. They have lost their way, and their hearts are torn by the ravages of hate and rancor. On the other hand, there are persons who unveil their inherent higher selves through the endurance of pain and deprivation, and through noble acts of bravery and self-sacrifice. The present war is teaching man to be brave, to be able to suffer, to understand, and to sacrifice. The disease of selfishness in mankind will need a cure that is not only universal in its application, but drastic in nature. Selfishness is so deep-rooted that it can be eradicated only if it is attacked from all sides. Real peace and happiness will dawn spontaneously when there is a purging of selfishness. The peace and happiness that come from self-giving love are permanent. Even the worst sinners can become great saints if they have the courage and sincerity to invite a drastic and complete change of heart. The present chaos and destruction will engulf the whole world, but in the future this will be followed by a very long period in which there shall be no war. The passing sufferings and miseries of our times will be worth enduring for the sake of the long period of happiness that is to follow eventually. What will the present chaos lead to? How will it all end? It can only end in one way. Mankind will become sick of it all. Man will be sick of wanting and sick of fighting out of hatred. Greed and hatred will reach such intensity that everyone will become weary of them. The way out of the deadlock will be found through selflessness. The only alternative that can bring a solution will be to stop hating and to love, to stop wanting and to give, to stop dominating and to serve. That's only a small portion of this discourse. I encourage you to look into these books. This is Discourses, the 7th edition. In the Falmouth Public Library, you'll find the 7th edition and the 6th edition of Discourses. They're slightly different editorially. I've been comparing them. There's no real drastic difference between them. So if one of them is taken out of the library, feel free. It's important. If you're interested, you can look further into the teachings of the Meher Baba. So that's a brief introduction. This is what the show is going to look like from now on. I'll be doing readings from different religions. I will be interviewing people who are interested in becoming guests on the show. I may move this into the studio. I'm not sure. It depends on how many people are interested in participating in the show. I am going to post copies of what I do online. So I'll be keeping you up to date on how to find out more about this new show called The Infinite One. Thank you for joining me today, and I wish you beautiful sunny weather. And yes, Irma, you can say goodbye too. Happy days and a lovely holiday season. God bless you, and thanks.